Hi, and welcome back to our last segment of Community Hotline. I'm Monica Weitzel. We're here in Gresham at MetroEast Community Media. Tonight, the last segment is going to be with the Job Corps. People have heard about the Job Corps, but there are things you probably don't know that you'll find out tonight. Specifically, we're talking about the Springdale Pivot Job Corps, and representing, or the center director is Naomi Olsted.
Yes,
thank you for being here, Naomi.
Yes, thanks for having me.
And Tina Moreski, you are the Pivot Site Director.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, so first of all, we're talking about two different locations, correct? Mm-hmm. Springdale is in the Troutdale area, is that
Correct,
right?
yes.
Okay.
We're out along the old Columbia Highway.
Okay,
so if you drive
beautiful.
out that way and you see that big metal dragon, that's us.
That's you. Okay.
And people always say, oh,
yeah.
You know, I've been driving by that metal dragon for years, and I always wondered what was back there, and so now we know.
That's
what's back there.
The location where, what happens back there?
We have career and technical training for our students. We have students between 16 and 24 years old. We have about 140 students, and most of them live there on center. And so we have a dormitory, so it's like a little campus.
Yeah.
So we have our trades, we offer GED and high school diploma, and all kinds of other services for them.
Wow. Okay, and what about Pivot? Where is that located?
Pivot's located in the Montgomery Park building, downtown in Northwest Portland.
Totally different setting.
Totally
right.
different. I know.
Very different. And
City mouse, country mouse.
Yeah, it really is.
How do you determine who goes where?
They get to select.
They have that. They have that option. Okay.
It depends on what trade they're interested in, and then of course where they live. So if it's too far for them to go into Pivot, you know, they're going to come out to Springdale or vice versa.
Okay. Well, let me get right to the basics. Who joins Job Corps, and who is that for?
Well, 16 to 24 is the age range.
Right.
Needs to be considered to be underprivileged, so they need to meet certain low-income requirements because the program is completely free for them.
Wow.
It's an incredible opportunity. So to be considered at risk or underprivileged in some way to meet those low-income requirements, then they're able to apply and come to Job Corps.
Okay.
And then there are actually 5 Job Corps centers in Oregon. But depending on what trade the student might be interested in and their location, that's where they would, you know, make a decision about where they wanted to go.
Okay, and the kids that live in Oregon stay in Oregon. Do they ever go out of state?
Sometimes.
Sometimes,
depending on what trade they're interested in. You know, we have students coming from Washington or Idaho or California sometimes because we have protective services and auto body collision and repair, and those two trades are unique in our region. So we will sometimes recruit from quite a ways away.
What does protective services entail?
Oh, protective services entails quite a lot, but basically it's training to start at entry-level security. So students, you know, learn defensive tactics, they learn de-escalating techniques, they learn handcuffing. There's an advanced component if students are selected to do that where they can actually gain their ARMS certification as well. So they gain a DPSST, which always throws me a little bit, but Department of Public Safety Standards training certificate,
There you go.
and then possibly the ARMED.
Wow. Okay. So what are some of the other trades and skills that youth can learn?
Why don't you talk about Pivot a little bit?
Well, at Pivot, it's an all-female population at Pivot, so no male students.
Are they all segregated?
No.
Okay.
Pivot's the only one like that.
Okay.
And we do medical office supports, so the students who leave with that training are certified medical administrative assistants.
Probably a really good field to be in right now.
It is, and it's paying. Our girls are leaving with $12 to $14 an hour jobs right now. So
that's great.
And then we do office administration, which is entry-level office work. So a little lower paying because it's not specific to like the medical field.
Right,
it's not getting that, but.
So if somebody comes in, say I didn't get my diploma, I dropped out, and whatever my situation was, but I wanted to go to Job Corps and I qualified for whatever your income level is or whatever the requirements are. And if I wanted to be in administrative, have an administrative job, you would train me. You have the training right there, and you take the classes, and then what? There's another component to it, right?
Right. So we train, and then we also do the academic skills. So if you need your GED or high school diploma, then we provide that while you're there as well.
Right.
And then we do a transition. We offer transition services, and so most centers offer about 30 days where we're trying to transition them to employment. There is an internship portion, so they're getting skills and out in the community working, and oftentimes those internships do turn into full-time jobs as well.
The people already know if they can do the job, right? They know
Right.
if they fit with their team there, that kind of thing.
Right.
Yeah, the job market is so competitive, and so these students who come in and they have very little job experience, if any, and then while they're there, we try to give them as much job experience as we can through the internships. We also provide a lot of other opportunities, service learning, things like that. Anything we can do to help them build their resume so they can be as competitive as possible. As many third-party certifications as they can earn to stackable certifications so that they can really build that resume. And then our goal is, of course, that every student leave with a job.
Which would be wonderful.
It's, maybe we don't always meet
Right.
that goal, but
You know, they
we
may
do
get
have-
one a couple months down the road.
Right.
You know.
Our statistics right now are very strong in that area. We're 90% for graduate placement right now.
Wow,
So
that's really
of all
high.
the students that are graduating, 90% of those are getting placed. And we're tracking that, and they're making good wages.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
So do you also do some coaching and training on doing their resumes and interviewing and, you know, how to comport yourself on the job, those kind of things?
As much
Right.
as possible. Right before I came over here, I was doing a workshop with students on interviewing and different types of interview questions that you might receive and how to prepare for that, because it's tough.
Right.
And how to dress for an interview
Yes.
and
We
what
bring-
not to wear.
Right, right. We bring a lot of community partners in to do interviews as
Oh,
well. So
good.
it's not just coming from us,
That's
it's
a
coming
good
from
thing.
employers in the community that are giving them real feedback for
Right.
how it's going.
Well, and those are real businesses, so they have different needs, and they interview differently depending on what their needs are.
Right.
Yeah, that's
You know,
good.
and that's the key to this program that I think makes it so successful, is that partnership with our local employers and with our businesses, because we can't prepare these students unless we know what it is that the industry needs. And so it's a real benefit to the employer to be able to say, okay, this is what I need. And, you know, the employees that I'm receiving don't have enough skills in whatever
Right.
it is. And so then they'll partner with us and say, hey, can you, really train your students to work with this piece of equipment, or work on these skills, or come in with these certifications. So then in collaboration with our employer partner, we're able to provide that training. And then we have somebody who's ready to enter the workforce with exactly the tailored specific needs that that employer wanted.
Yeah. A lot of times kids go down to college and they think they want to do this, they want to do this,
Yeah.
but there's no market for
Right.
for their skills. This is really great to have that feedback and then be able to provide them with those skills. What are there any trends that you've been seeing lately, like in the job market, that people are asking for?
Well, the medical field.
Well, yes.
Medical field, I've heard that's a really
definitely.
booming field.
Right.
The medical field.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of discussion about soft skills or sort of employment skills, things like are people showing up on time? Are they taking initiative? Are they able to work and communicate with a variety of different kinds of backgrounds, people with different backgrounds? So those are all areas that we really focus on the center as well, just integrated throughout the training. So, because we're really wanting our students to come away with those soft skills, because that's the most important thing. I mean, we want them to have the hard skills, of
Right.
course, but even if they aren't quite up to par on the hard skills, if you have an employee that has those soft skills, that can take initiative, that's willing to learn, that has a positive attitude,
It's a good work ethic.
you're going to keep
Very
them.
good.
Yeah,
And
that's
so,
exactly right,
yeah.
because you can learn those other
Right.
skills.
Yes.
In most cases, you can learn that, but not everybody.
Are you
has an-
coachable?
Yeah, are you
Really?
coachable? There are people that don't have a natural affinity for working in groups or teams, or that are not open to that, I guess.
Right.
That don't feel like that's important, and it's really important.
Yes.
It makes a huge difference in the whole morale of a
Right.
company or an office. So that's really important that you do that. So, how do you find the businesses where the students will intern? How does that work?
Well, we both have an employability specialist, an individual on site that's their whole focus, is to specifically look for the trade matches. So,
Okay.
if it's a medical office support job that we're looking for, then they'll go to local offices, they'll go to Providence, Kaiser, OHSU, and speak to HR, whoever they can, to get the foot
Right.
in the door, and then have the discussion about the internship. So
Okay.
they're out always looking for new internships.
Are they paid internships or unpaid internships?
Most are unpaid.
Most are
Yeah,
unpaid. We
yeah.
have some that are paid. Of course, that's pretty exciting.
Yeah, I'm sure it is. But the value of an
The value
internship
of-
alone is
right.
worth a lot. I imagine that most of the employers are willing to write recommendations,
Yes. Right.
referrals, that kind of thing.
We really talk to the students about the importance of networking too, and a lot of times that's something they have very little experience in. And sometimes if you have a young person, 16, 17, 18 years old, that feels inauthentic to them. And so there's this whole conversation that you need to have with those students and develop to say, this isn't inauthentic. This is community building. This is building relationships. This is just building your work community, your professional community.
Right, and that's really important. And I think 90% of jobs are people get them through networking anymore.
Right.
Who do you know? Who who can you recommend? Who can you introduce me to? That kind of thing. So that's really important.
Yeah. Right.
I think another thing that I see a lot is kids spend so much time on their devices now
Oh, yeah.
that they don't have that one-on-one
Right.
interaction. So learning how to actually talk to an adult
Right.
is difficult for some kids. They don't want to look at you, and that. That's not going to go over real well in the
Right.
workplace, I wouldn't think.
There's a lot of education on the Job Corps
Yeah.
site just around those, like
Right.
when you use it, when you don't use it, how to write an email, not text message, you know.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, and the
Yes.
appropriate way to do that. I mean, I
Right.
still sometimes send emails and I'm told, your tone came across differently than you intended. Oops. But that's something you have to learn.
Right.
That's important. You have a trade expo coming up. What
Yes.
can you tell me about that?
Yes, that's on April 21st, and so this is a really exciting event. We have it a couple times a year, and we invite employers out to the center, and so we set it all up in our gym, and we schedule our students and our graduates to come and visit, and then they go around and talk to potential employers, learn about their companies. We've had some really great matchups, some great
Wonderful.
success that way. So it's it's a job fair, but hosted right there on the center.
It's a little bit different, got a little different
Yeah.
flavor to it. You provided some pictures, I think, didn't you? Maybe we could
Yeah.
take a look at some of those pictures. I think they were,
Yeah.
well, you can tell us what we're looking at when we see them here. Let's see. Ah, the dragon.
Oh, yes, see, so there's the dragon, yeah. So if you're driving by there, that's what, we actually had a welding trade quite some time ago. We don't any longer, but the students made that.
It's an awesome dragon. I'd love
know.
to have something like that in my front yard.
At Christmas time, we put a little Santa hat on them.
Montgomery Park. I wondered if that was Montgomery Park
Yes.
because I go in there a lot for different things. There are some
right,
organizations
so
I visit
that's
there.
last February in 2015, all of my students that were enrolled at that time. And so
Wow.
we just lined them all up there and got an updated picture.
That's great. That's a good facility. I mean, that's
Oh my gosh,
beautiful.
it's beautiful. So these are two of our students, and what we do as they're getting ready to transition to their internship, we have them work in our front office and utilize their skills there just
okay.
to make sure that they're ready. So they're using their skills and being our secretary.
great. You can evaluate them right there.
Right, exactly.
There's a couple of our students. So our student there on the left, Moo, she is in our auto body collision repair and paint trade. So she's
for
in the repair portion right now, and she's working on some sanding. She's a great student. She's also on our basketball team.
Oh, you have a basketball team too?
Yes,
I like seeing
yes.
women in the auto repair business because women tend to be ripped off a lot. And
I
having a
know.
woman, you would trust her more, right? I mean,
Right.
I would.
Right.
And they're great paying jobs too.
Yeah,
we have
yeah.
excellent. We have great success.
I think that's wonderful.
And then another gentleman there, he's in our protective services trade.
Okay. A good smile.
Yes. Oh, on the left there, that's pharmacy technician. So that's our newest trade. Our
Oh.
students trained to be entry-level pharmacy techs. And that started up in October of,
That's real new.
well, it's been a year
Okay.
ago. But so we're seeing some really positive success with that. Our students are getting jobs at VetSource, Walgreens, and doing some excellent work out there.
Great.
And the wages are strong because, it's part of that whole healthcare industry, and it's booming, and it's not slowing down.
That's the field to be in.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah.
Right, it is. And on the right, that's actually in our pivot classroom, in our office administration
Oh.
classroom. So there's some of the young women that are working on their skills and
Okay.
learning Word and Excel and PowerPoint.
Do you yourself teach some of these classes, or do you?
I
did you?
don't. No, I didn't teach them specifically, but I teach, do introduction to our center at the beginning of their
Okay.
training and interact with them on different levels, more of a coaching, mentoring relationship.
Do you follow up with them afterwards, after they've graduated from the program? Do you?
Yes, well, we are required to, and then we also do on our own accord as well. But we have follow-up statistics that we're responsible for. So are they working 6 and 12 months later, and how much money are they making, because all of that factors into overall success and whether or
Right.
not we're doing our job successfully. If a student graduates, gets a job, and then gets fired, that's not a success.
Right,
He's
right.
back on the couch playing video games, that's not a success.
And
So
that's an opportunity to find out what you did wrong,
Yes.
if indeed.
So
Right.
we
It was
keep
your
in really
fault.
close contact with them. We call them regularly, check in on them. If there's something's gone wrong, then we're providing job leads for them. I tell those students when they come in, I am committed to you. We are committed to you from day one. And even if you don't want to see us anymore, we're still after
We're
you.
going
We
to
will
be there,
here.
knocking on your door, calling your
Calling.
name,
We had a
texting you.
student come back just the other day. He came back, he's out of state now, but he came back specially to see us, and he's doing so great. And this is a student who had a lot of sort of personal barriers, a lot of challenges, had been homeless for some time. There was some really unstable living environment growing up, and just a lot of challenges. And he went through the auto body collision and repair program and through the paint program, and he's been working for the last year and a half that he's been gone. He's making good money. He's supporting himself. And
You've broken that cycle.
yes.
That,
Right.
was
Ideally.
set in motion.
Right.
Yeah,
Wow, that's great.
it's powerful.
We're almost out of time. Tell me real quick about the book drive and the open house that you have coming up.
Why don't you talk about the open house?
So Pivot has an open house every Wednesday to just for individuals that are interested in the program to come and check us out and see if that's something that they want to participate
Do
in.
they need to let you know ahead of time if they're
Nope,
coming?
they can show every Wednesday at 2 p.m.
Okay. Montgomery Park Building.
Montgomery Park Building.
Okay,
Yep.
that's easy.
And the book drive, our Student Government Association wanted to have a book drive for kids. So they'll go toward the Children's Book Bank, and it's in May. It's the May 16th, that week of May 16th. We'll be gathering up children's books to then give to the Children's Book Bank. So if people are interested in figuring out where to drop off books, they can check on our website.
Okay, good.
And that'll be posted there.
One last thing, how are you funded? Is this a government?
It's a federally funded program through the Department of Labor.
And do you have a need for volunteers at all?
Oh, always.
Always.
Yes, tutors especially.
Tutors, okay.
Tutoring math.
And it's
You won't get me doing that.
it's basic level math and reading.
Yeah.
So it's not advanced college level,
Right.
it's basic level. So people get really freaked out when you say, we need a math tutor.
I can do the reading.
Yeah.
That's great. So if people are interested, again, go to the website
Right.
and find out what the volunteer opportunities are.
Yes,
Wonderful.
right.
Definitely.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you so much. So trade fair, which is at your
Yes,
the Springdale
on
site.
the 21st, and we'd welcome businesses who want to be a part of that.
Okay. Go ahead and get on the website,
Yeah.
get in contact with you, and see what magic happens.
Right.
Yeah.
Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Thank you for
Appreciate it.
having us.
You bet.
It's fun.
Thanks so much for watching Community Hotline. I learned some new things tonight. I hope you did too. And we'll be back here next week at the same time. We'll see you then.
What local community media is to us is literally our lifeline to what's going on in the lives around us.
The absolute most important thing that happens in your neighborhood.
People's local communities are usually what's most important to them.
Because we're the faces, the smiles, the peoples, and the personalities of the community.
To not only give people a voice, but to have their voice heard.